Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is another episode of The Pursuit. Thank you guys for joining me. My name is Garland Queck, and I am your host. And on this show, I like to do interviews with interesting people in New York City, people who are pursuing after their own passions, their own goals, and doing something just a little bit different than the typical, corporate office job or the typical 9 to 5. So they could be entrepreneurs, they could be artists, they could be small mom and pop shop owners, whatever fits that description of someone who's going after their own path. um, those are the type of people that I like to talk to and get to know better. And so today I have my friend Alex. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. He is a buddy from church, and he has a pretty interesting background that I wanted to talk more about and share with you guys. So, Alex studied computer science in undergrad, and then when he graduated, he worked for a number of years in the tech industry, mostly in startups. Um, and then more recently, he is looking to transition out of that space into the music industry. Alex is also a very gifted um, musician. He plays the piano. He's done recitals and concerts, and so yeah, he's looking to explore more of that. And today, I wanted to kind of pick his brain and talk about that pursuit, as well as things he's doing to help him accomplish that goal. I know he's also involved in like real estate and probably some of his other side hustles. So all of it we want to talk about today. So
Mhm.
Alex, thanks again for being on the show. So could you just maybe expand a little bit more about your background, give us a little brief summary of your bio, if you wouldn't mind, of
Of course.
bringing us from the tech space to where you are now.
Yeah, of course. So, as you mentioned, I studied computer science in my undergrad. And then after graduation, I worked in the tech industry for 4 years. The two companies I worked with, they weren't exactly startups, but they had that type of culture, startup culture. And they were definitely smaller companies. Um, During my time there, I worked as a solutions engineer, also known as sales engineer, which is a client facing role where you talk to clients, understand what their business requirements are, and then based on that, you recommend software solutions. I did that for a few years, about 4 years total, I would say. Um, I had mixed feelings about those jobs. The pay, certainly the salary and having a paycheck was nice. But it never felt really something I really wanted to do. It felt like something I had to do.
Mm.
So, pretty much my entire life, I played piano since the age of 7. Um, that's when my parents basically forced me to
Mm.
play very typical Asian immigrant story.
Mhm.
The parents force you to play
It's been like
violin.
I
Yeah.
always joke that I didn't get that, like, I'm missing that from my childhood because
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't get forced to play an instrument,
Oh,
which honestly I wish I had.
oh yeah.
In retrospect, I would love to have some musical talent of some sort,
Oh yeah.
or like at least know it more. So
Right.
it's always funny when people say, "Oh, I have that typical like forced music thing," but I was like, "Ah, I wish I didn't get that." But
Right.
anyway, yeah.
You feel FOMO for
Yeah, I feel FOMO, basically.
FOMO for nothing forced.
I know.
Yeah, it's hard to say whether it was a positive experience or negative experience. But I will say that when I turned around 13, that's when I really got into it.
Mm.
So I play not most, I basically only play classical music. So you can consider me as a classical pianist.
Okay.
I'd been doing that my entire life. Even when I was working in tech,
Yeah.
I would work during the day, have my day job. And then at night, I just practice till late hours. So
Nice.
I had this sort of Jekyll and Mr. Hyde
Yeah.
kind of deal where at daytime I'm one person, nighttime I'm another
Yeah.
personality. So
Yeah.
I did that even while I was working in tech. And up to this point, now I am doing mostly music related endeavors. It's been 2 years since I worked in tech. And now I'm recently applied to music school. I'm looking to get more involved in that space.
Okay. What, if you don't mind me asking, like, what schools are you looking at?
Mhm.
Like, and why? Like, I'm sure there's particular schools that you're looking to get to, and what attracts you about them.
Right. So the one I applied for is Manhattan School of Music. It's near Columbia. There's a teacher there I really like working with, and she also wrote my recommendation letter. So that's something I was looking into. Um, Most likely, I think next cycle, so about a year from today, I'm going to start applying for some more, assuming whatever, depending on the results of this cycle.
Okay.
So if I don't get in this cycle, I plan to try again next one.
Okay.
And for those schools, I on my list, Juilliard,
Yeah.
probably Manhattan School of Music again. Um, there's one in Indiana called Jacobs School of Music, which is a good school.
Where is that?
That's
These are all in
it's part of this is part of Indiana University.
Oh, Indiana. Okay.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. And then that's all I have so far. I'm sure I'll think of more. There's also Yale School of Music, but again, these are quite competitive programs. So
Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm like, you have to be of a certain caliber, I feel like, to even, think you have a shot
oh yeah,
for them. So, like, I've seen some of your like performances, not in person, but like, online, and I was like, dude, you good and sing.
yeah.
Um, it's cool to see talent like that. Especially because, again, I'm FOMO, so
Oh yeah,
like,
that's still not being forced.
yeah, I live vicariously through a lot of like YouTube performers, honestly.
Oh really?
Like, I mean, whether it's guitar, violin, or anything, and people who are like self-taught, but there's like prodigies or,
Right.
I mean, you don't have to be prodigy, but like, because I know it takes a lot of hard work, it's a lot of practice, like the number of hours, like, well, how many hours would you estimate? You know how the saying they say,
Right.
like, if you want to be a master at something, you got to put in over 10,000 hours
So yeah,
over the course of like 10 years or something like that, right? So like, where I'm sure you said you've been doing it since 7 and 13 seriously. So
right.
lifetime number, what would you give
A
us?
life? No, that's hard to estimate.
Just throw a number out there. Given that, like, you're at master level probably,
Oh, I
or like
right.
maybe more than 10,000.
More than 10,000. I'm not. Gosh, it's hard to even wrap my brain around what 10,000 how long 10,000 hours is. I mean, I've been at it for since I was 13. Seriously,
Yeah.
I don't know how old am I? I'm 29 now, so it's been about 16 years.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, when I was younger, I don't think I had enough stamina, mental stamina, how to describe focus.
Yeah.
So I could maybe practice 1-2 hours a day when I was younger.
That's still very impressive for that age.
For 13 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, you wait till you see the child prodigies, but um, yeah, I guess it's easier to describe more recently. So the past 2 years or so.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't you take us through like what is your like practice routine? How do you maintain such a high level of like skill in it these days?
I think. Well, so basically, it's something you have to do every day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much no break.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was gonna ask if you had any periods where you didn't play or you like took a break, or scaled it back to focus on other things.
Right. Well, while I was working in tech, I didn't. There, I'd had months where I wouldn't play that much at all. I'd be doing other things. Um,
Would it be hard to get back into it then? Like, were you rusty? Did you get rusty easily, or is it like one of those muscle memories that you don't really ever forget? Like riding a bike or something.
Yeah, I think it's more a lot of muscle memory. And you don't really forget. I mean, of course, I don't play as well, but at least we're immediately coming back to it.
Yeah.
But once I get into the groove, then it's fairly easy to bring back.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty natural for me to just
Pretty
pick it up again because I've done it. I've actually put it down and then picked it up several times.
love it.
So I go several months without playing, then I play for a year seriously and put it down, and then pick it up again, and so it's fairly robust. I would say I don't really forget
Yeah.
how to play. It's not like I forget how to play piano.
Right. Right.
It's very robust.
Yeah. You just can't like just dive into like a Beethoven piece or something right away. You get like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well,
You don't go from 0 to 100.
not immediately.
Yeah.
But I think within a month at most, I'm pretty much back to normal.
Okay.
Yeah, back to what I was, if not better. Is-
Yeah.
Because I think when you mentioned maintenance, I was thinking, well, I guess my attitude is more of how to improve.
Right. Yeah.
Possibly, I think.
That was my next question. Is like, so how do you up your skill in this? Like, what do you do? I guess part going to school, right, is part of it. You mentioned you've taken some classes at Juilliard before.
Right, Juilliard extension.
So that was like a way to boost you to the next level, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely. It definitely having feedback on your performance. Like you might think you sound one way when you play in a practice room or something, but when you hear feedback from someone who's way better than you, I think that helps a lot with them. In fact, that's probably one of the only ways to improve is to have people who are way better than you comment
Right.
on your performance, on your playing. So
Hmm.
feedback is definitely a big part
Yeah.
of improvement.
Gotcha. And like, I'm really curious about the space because again, I have no, like
Oh yeah.
relation to it at all. I
Hey.
don't know. Like I've taken my music background is like I took band in middle school.
Oh, yeah.
I played the French horn
Mhm.
and like I've learned to read music and all that stuff. I did it for like 3 years, but I never really got into it. And then I stopped it. So I've forgotten everything
Mhm.
completely. And so yeah, I'm super curious about like, especially at this level. Um, like, so what do you do to, so the feedback that you get from, um, these instructors or these
Right.
masters, people who are better at a higher level than you. Because I want the audience to kind of, people who are interested in pursuing music, like what is some of the aspects that they can learn about, you know, what is, how does the feedback help you? Do they talk about like technical stuff? Do they talk about like like I guess I call it intangibles. It's like, oh, you should like put more emotion into it.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious.
More
Yeah,
abstract.
more abstract things. So what kind of feedback do you get? It's a combination of it.
It's definitely a combination. Sometimes it could be, oh, your hands, you might want to tighten your wrist. Like some feedback I got is your hands are kind of, some people told me my hands are too loose
Okay.
and that it seems to give, the sounds kind of fleeting. And then they say maybe just tighten a little bit.
Okay.
So that's more technical side.
Yeah.
Like if I tighten my wrist or what, or have firmer fingers was another one I got a lot. So that's more technical. But inevitably, there's just symbiotic relationship between technique and musicality.
Yeah.
So others is, oh, I feel like this phrase, you could have phrased it this way, or you could have had more crescendo here, or contrast, things. That's the nature of the feedback I get from both my colleagues and teachers.
Okay. Got it. So that's how you get better was by implementing that
Yeah,
and practicing it.
for sure. And I should mention another way that I found very effective is to record yourself
Oh yeah.
and to listen back. So you become, in essence, you play two roles,
Mhm.
or in text basically called wearing multiple hats.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But you play the role of as a critic and also as a performer.
Hmm.
So when you do it when you record yourself, um, it there's some pressure when you record yourself. There's always more pressure because then you realize somebody or something in this case is listening to you, a microphone listening to you.
Mhm.
So it kind of simulates a performance setting. And then when you listen back, you get honest feedback on how you actually sound versus what you think you sound like.
Yeah.
And then oftentimes I find that there there are passages that sound better
Oh.
than I originally thought. And then other times there are passages I thought sounded okay when playing, but actually don't sound great on the recording. And then that's when I can know, that's where I find room for improvement.
Gotcha. Oh, very interesting.
So a lot of it is just listening,
Mhm.
either from other people or from a microphone.
Right. And I guess that's why you invested in all that pro audio gear
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
things we were talking about earlier, like microphones and recorders.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I guess at that level, you want it to be as accurate as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, you want to be as honest and accurate as possible.
Yeah.
That's why we have this little guy here.
Cool. So then did that, I'm just that curious, like, did that open up a new, because getting into audio is another thing.
Oh yeah.
Like, does is there any like more interest in that for you, or like all you're just is mostly just like, oh, like utilitarian? Because you can get into like, like mixing and like
Right,
all that stuff. Like it's still within the realm of music,
right.
but you're mostly concentrating on performing, right?
Yeah, I would say I'm focusing on performance, but I really enjoy exploring other
Mhm.
domains. So audio engineer, I've been looking into audio engineering.
Yeah.
Um, for classical music, my understanding again, I've only recently started exploring audio engineering, but my
Mm.
understanding for classical music is that you just want an accurate sound and that you don't want to tamper too much with the recording after you
Right.
the record button.
Right.
So there's not too my understanding is there's not too much editing involved,
Okay.
or there should not.
Yeah, there shouldn't.
There should
Or you're not editing for anyone. You wanted to play it back for yourself
right. I want
and hear it accurately.
yeah, and then for my audition tape, pretty much didn't edit it.
Hmm.
It's also I feel like it's also next level. If you're able to edit individual notes, that's really and then make it imperceptible, that's really next level
Yeah.
audio engineering, which is something I'm not at right now.
Wow.
At least not yet.
But yeah. But okay, so you mentioned auditions.
Oh yeah.
Can you talk to us about that? Like, what are you doing in terms of like, what is your goal? What is your maybe take it backward though? Like,
Mhm.
what is your motive to wanting to get more into the music industry and
Right, right.
be a performer? Is that your goal, or
Yeah.
other ones in mind?
I think the end game would be to become a teacher.
Okay.
I would enjoy teaching music and be able to share my passion with students who ideally would reciprocate that passion as well.
Oh, okay.
Imagine reality might not be so romantic, but
Hmm.
that is something I've envisioned for a very long time.
Oh,
Ever since I was
as
a
a
teacher,
teacher.
even as an undergrad, I was thinking about, oh, maybe I can do music, teach music.
Yeah.
Uh,
So is that like private lessons type of thing, or do you want to teach at like a school, like with classrooms and things like that? I don't know how
right, right.
music school does it, but
Oh yeah, yeah. There are many options. Private lessons is something a lot of actually majority, I would say majority musicians do.
okay.
Teach privately, so they're basically freelance
Yeah.
teachers.
Hmm.
Uh, it's pretty much part of if you're a musician, you pretty much have to teach nowadays,
Okay.
or maybe not even nowadays, just ever.
Well, can you like I don't know
Right.
the industry economics and dynamics.
Oh yeah.
Is there? Can you? I'm sure someone might want to hear about that side of things.
Right.
Are
Right.
you, can you tell us why you said that? Like why is it necessary to teach these days?
Oh, it's a complex topic. Uh,
Probably more than just about money, I imagine. Like maybe some sort of like it's part of your reputation, or it's like
right.
you know.
I do think a lot of it is funny.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, a lot of it. There's I. It's funny when you say industry because I guess there's two ways of looking at this. Cynical view is that there's really no industry. It's just there's not much out there compared to like tech where
Okay.
there are many job opportunities. Maybe not right. I don't know at the time of this recording, the tech industry seems like this is very slow with hiring at the moment. But with classical music, it's very difficult to make a living out of it.
Hmm.
It's pretty much everybody will struggle unless you're the top 0.05% performers who make millions of dollars net worth, like Lang Lang or
Okay.
Liu Wang. Those are some biggest names
Gotcha.
classical world right now. So it's pretty difficult to make a living, which is why I know a lot of people just they study classical music, but then they do something else professionally. In fact, that's been a lot of the advice that I was given by professors in undergrad is that you might be happier doing something else to make money, to make a living, and then you just do classical music on the side. So
Gotcha. Is that it sounds like it sounds like you're going into music 100%, or are you taking that advice and doing something on the side, or
well, I did take that advice.
yeah, I guess
For many years.
for the during your tech years, right?
Yeah, when I was working in tech, I worked 9 to 5, and then when I got out of work, I would practice a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so I wasn't completely happy with
Yeah.
yeah. I can't say definitely can't say I was happy working in tech.
Mhm.
There were definitely good moments. There were definitely highlights. I made a lot of friends who I still keep in touch with today. So
Yeah.
I certainly do not regret my time in tech, but I wouldn't say it was exactly fulfilling work.
Mhm. So what does your day look like then? If you're not working now, could you walk us through like your um I imagine you have free time to practice more. You can,
Right.
you know, put together shows,
Mhm.
I'm gonna maybe learn and then like go to workshops or
Right.
things like that. So
Mhm.
could you walk us through like a typical productive like music day for you?
I'm taking a class at Juilliard Extension Division, which
Okay.
it's basically you pay to take a class,
Okay.
pay to play, and
Paying
then
to play.
yeah, and then you can also pay a practice room fees to use their practice rooms.
Okay.
So I've been doing that. So
Yeah.
pretty much I get there around 7, 8, sometimes 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And then I practice until it closes around 12 a.m.
Wow. So that's like
Yeah.
between like 3 to 5 hours of practicing.
Oh yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Sometimes yeah, I just do that pretty much every day, even to this point as I speak. In fact, today might be my only day off. Officially.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
again, thanks for making the time.
Yeah.
Um, wow, 3 to 5 hours every day. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Is it?
varying levels of efficiency, but around that's about
Yeah.
average. Yeah.
I imagine it. Okay. Yeah. It probably costs a pretty penny to practice there, or do they have like uh, pretty affordable rates or something?
It's not terrible actually. The class this is all online anyway. So if any of your viewers are interested in taking classes,
Right. Yeah.
it's the class I'm taking is a piano studio class.
Okay.
That's around $1,400. At the time of recording, they might have raised it because of
Mm.
inflation, or
Is that for like a month? Like a month?
it's for a semester.
Oh, so that's
So that's about 13, 14 weeks.
oh, okay. Well, that's actually pretty reasonable then.
Yeah, it's not.
Say $100 a week to have like studio space to work in
Right.
classes.
Yeah, I think it's pretty
It's
good.
actually pretty good. Shout out Juilliard.
Julia Extension is probably more affordable than
Yeah.
than most colleges.
Yeah. I mean, Juilliard, and Juilliard's such a big name,
Oh yeah.
music. So it's like,
Yeah, you got some really talented. The teachers are all very solid there.
and you get access to them. Like
Yeah.
you can ask them questions, have them evaluate you, stuff like that.
Oh yeah. That's how you pay for.
That does sound like a very good deal then.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Cool. Shout out Juilliard.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's a little snippet of like what you're doing like
Nowadays.
yeah, nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, let me kind of pivot the conversation to so one big aspect of this show, this video podcast is that uh I want to weave in aspects of faith
Mm-hmm.
into it.
Mhm.
Because the show's called The Pursuit, but it is kind of like a double meaning with like it's about your pursuit, it's about the individual pursuits of the people who come on the show, but I also focus a lot on like Christian entrepreneurs, Christian artists, because I want to get those stories out about how God is moving in your life and helping you in this pursuit. And as Christians, our ultimate pursuit is of Him,
Mhm.
God, and His kingdom.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of like the meaning of the show. And so I always want to talk about like a little bit about your faith and how it plays a role
Mhm.
in your pursuit.
Mhm.
So could you give us a little bit of a background about your faith, like your upbringing,
Mhm.
and then your how you came to church, how you came to maybe basically a little mini testimony,
Okay.
and then yeah, share, and then we'll get to the other questions.
Right. So I'll start off. I did grow up in a church environment
Yeah.
since my parents were both Christian. Uh, I will say that even though my upbringing was Christian, I would still say it was ultimately my personal decision to follow Christ. Not all my family members stayed that path, so just case in point, it very much is personal decision.
Mhm.
Uh, I grew up in church environment, went to youth group when I was in middle school, and pretty much since then I stuck with this church world. Let's call it this church culture. In college, I was not my freshman year or even my sophomore year, but in the my upperclassmen years, I was a leader of the college fellowship. And then after that, I joined church. After graduating, joined Church of the City, which is where we met each other.
Mhm.
Um, Admittedly, I would say in my mid-20s, I my church attendance was definitely very spotty, and I had very serious existential questions about what I believe in, and I think I foolishly tried to come up with my own worldview, my own system of values and beliefs, but then I realized how futile that was. So now I think I'm very much back into I would question my faith a lot less nowadays than when I did my mid-20s, my early mid-20s.
Hmm.
So that's where I am with my faith.
Hmm. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it so does it have a I guess you mentioned um you were a leader in the church. Do you ever do worship or anything related to music while you were, in church?
Yeah, that's it. It's ironically not much, even though I'm a musician.
That's okay.
The reason is that this co- I I guess you could say contemporary Christian worship is very different from classical.
Mm.
A lot of it is improvisation, which is not something I do very much or is taught very much in classical musical institutions.
Mm.
So I don't do too much worship, but whenever there's a more traditional form, reading, maybe singing from a hymn book, for example, then I usually do that. I just play the piano part on that.
Okay.
So it's not like I never do it, but I definitely don't do it weekly, and certainly not Church of the City. What that style is very different from what I do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Do you see a place though for like worship for classical music, like your style, to
Mhm.
be, I guess, used or played in a way for worship? Like, do you do it yourself as a form of worship? Like,
Mm.
um, or whenever you're performing, like, does it? Uh, I don't know. Is there any sort of faith aspect that
Oh yeah,
feels it?
I would say every performance. I believe ultimately my performances, my art should reflect God's glory. Like deep down, that's what I believe.
Yeah.
Whether I do that, but I fall short a lot of the times because I feel like I don't. Some performances I feel like I could have done this better, I could have done that better.
Mm.
Some of them might be unhealthy perfectionism, but at the end of the day, I want to honor God with my performances. So actually,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
yeah, I think that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to stop. I didn't want to work in tech industry anymore. Was because every day I felt like I was just doing enough to get by,
Mm.
just to appease my manager or whatever.
Yeah.
And even though my heart wasn't really into it, I just did enough to collect the paycheck, go home, eat out with friends, maybe
Right.
buy clothes, whatever.
Yeah,
But
that's just what humans do.
yeah, that's what people do. It's what their paychecks, go on vacation. I guess.
Yeah, there's just nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing is wrong.
It's just like each of us get a satisfaction from something different, right? So
Yeah,
like you recognized that wasn't enough.
yeah,
You were looking, or at least you were looking for something else.
yeah. And I felt like I worked much harder on music. I spent significantly more time playing piano than I like any job I'd ever done.
Yeah.
So I felt like it feels like that's where I had most of my time invested,
Right.
and I wanted to maximize that
Uh-huh.
to honor God.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is the best. Again, I'm how to describe this. Yeah, I feel like that's probably the best way. That's the way I want to honor God.
Yeah.
His point.
You feel like it's the best use of your given talents and
I think so.
gifts.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult to say whether this is the best use of my time or the best use of my resources. Those are very difficult questions to answer. How to spend our time in this life.
But you're
But
in a way you're investing, right? Like it's an investment of your time and your resources right now to
that's right.
see if there is maybe a greater like quote unquote payoff in the future and like
Yeah,
see where it leads. But yeah, you're not gonna know where it will go if you don't give it a shot, right?
very
Try it.
for sure.
I very much understand, kind of the position you're in and the shoes that you're walking in right now because
Mhm.
I've done that before too.
Right, right.
I used to work in corporate finance
Mhm.
and I used to work in finance and in the corporate life, and so did that for a number of years, and then started doing photography. And
Mhm.
one day I was like, I want to do more creative things, and
Right, right.
similar feelings of like I'm just working this job to you know keep living in New York City, stay afloat,
Right.
whatever, and just stability. And I was like, I want to do photography and see if I could make it into something,
Right, right.
but I don't know if I can if I don't give it a shot, you know?
Right, right.
And sure, there's like things you learn along the way that you realize you could have done differently or,
Mhm.
you know, could have approached things a little bit more, smartly, I guess,
Mhm.
and less risky. But
Right, right.
I mean, this is all in retrospect, right?
Right, right.
Again, you don't cross that bridge, you're not gonna know.
Right.
So I very much understand that position.
Yeah, I totally resonate with wanting to have more creativity because in a corporate job, especially even I guess even in a startup-esque environment, there's actually I don't want to speak for all startups, but in let's say let's say a company like Google, for example,
Mm.
everything I hear from my friends, and actually all my friends who were at Google are now at other companies.
Mm.
Funny enough, um, it feels very much like a slow moving ship with a very rigid top down structure. So whatever your manager says you have to do, you pretty much have to listen or get fired.
Yeah.
But so there's not that much room for creativity, and that's something a lot of my friends the sentiment a lot of my friends have expressed who have worked in those large tech companies before.
Yeah.
So I completely
I wanted to ask about a little bit more about like where you see this going. And you kind of answered it already with like the teacher thing, but
Mhm.
maybe like more tangible, like where do you see this like 5 years from now? And then like even further, like 15 years from now or
Oh
20
yeah.
years from now, like what's the more immediate goal? Because I assume you don't necessarily want to be a teacher right away. Maybe
Mhm.
you might want to perform more, or do you want to do like concerts, recitals, or because I know you've done a number of them
Mhm.
already, so that's why I'm very curious. Like, do you have a vision for that aspect of performing?
Yeah. Uh, at, I'll say at this stage in my life, I'm trying to improve my performance skills.
Okay.
So a lot of focus on becoming the best pianist I can be, and hence the number of concerts, the ones I go to, I participate in, and also the ones I set up myself.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of it is to improve my performance skills.
Yeah.
And then down the road, I think let's say 5 year time scale. I see myself as teaching either in a school or privately.
Okay. Yeah.
I really enjoy teaching a lot of time. The past 2 years, not the entire past 2 years, but I did volunteer
Oh,
as a teacher at a community college.
yeah.
Actually, it was right nearby Long Island.
Oh, okay. So you had
So
experience doing it, and that
yeah, I really,
kind of made you realize that.
I think it's a lot more meaningful to teach.
Hmm.
Even in my corporate jobs, whenever my manager says, "Oh, can you run this workshop to
Yeah.
teach like how to write SQL queries?"
Yeah.
That's one thing I did, and I felt that was a lot more meaningful to me than
Huh.
just trying to get the client to
Right.
not he stopped them from harassing me.
It's like, all right. let me do something beyond just like solving the problem for you. Let me like teach you that you could do it yourself.
You should teach them how to
Yeah.
fish instead of fishing. Well, however the idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
We all know the idiom.
Yeah.
Teach a man, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man a fish, teach a man a fish, you feed him for a life.
Yeah. That's how
we nailed it.
Yeah, you got it.
Nice. That mantra rings true for you.
Yeah.
Is there a reason like why you like teaching? Like what appeals to you?
Well, I like how the student can walk away with something
Okay.
that they ideally a skill they can use for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Or when I was in corporate, at least they can use for the rest of their time.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, when I taught SQL, which is a database language,
Yeah.
like it pretty much carries to any tech company. So there's that aspect where I know that I'm teaching them something useful that they can use.
Uh-huh.
And then the other aspect is I just like explaining things to people. I like taking complex topics and simplifying for people in a way that's easy for them to understand. And that's just something I enjoy doing.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely, you need to have that trait to be a good teacher.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the job of the teacher is to explain why something sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play something and it sounds good, but to be able to explain why. And then from that, you can extrapolate and then figure out how to make it.
I guess that's a lot of like music theory stuff.
Oh yeah, maybe music theory is a big part of that. That's a rabbit hole discussion.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about your musical pursuit. So what are some of the challenges you face these days?
Right.
Yeah. Of any kind. It could be, while trying to apply. It could be, hitting walls while you're like practicing.
Mm-hmm.
Just what are the things that feel like an obstacle for you?
Right. Oh man, there's no shortage of these.
Yes. Perfect.
So we're not even start. Well, first one's the big question is how to monetize
Okay.
this endeavor, because I feel like there will be a point where I have to make a decision whether to keep going down this road or just go back to tech or something else that I was doing.
Yeah.
Because it's not cheap to pay for lessons, because in addition to the Juilliard extension class I'm taking, I also take private lessons.
Oh, okay.
That could be upwards of $200, $300 an hour just to pay for the teacher. Wow. Yeah, for that level, you would need a teacher who can help me.
Yeah, like that number doesn't surprise me, but it's still very high.
And then imagine doing 4 lessons a month or something. That thing already about
just like
close to $1,000. So
you have to have some disposable income to do that.
Yeah, I guess that's the plus working in tech industry. It's not pretty lucrative. I'll say that. It's not a cheap endeavor by any means. Applying to the school is also a couple $100 just for the application fee.
Right. So I'm curious if you don't mind sharing, like, did you kind of save up to plan for this kind of stuff? Because you're recognizing, all right, lessons are going to cost this much, Juilliard is going to cost this much, studio space this much, and you're not going to be working. So did you, like, those years you were working and you were starting to think about this, did you start saving up to do this? Or I guess managing the property is probably bringing in some level of income that helps with it too.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll say I didn't save up for the sake of pursuing. I didn't know I would actually go down start pursuing it seriously.
Okay.
I always thought I would just work a normal job and then play music on the side. So I did save quite a bit of money while I was working in the tech industry.
Okay.
But I wasn't thinking that long term.
Gotcha.
I wasn't thinking I want to save up so I can go to music school later.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I have this money saved up. What do I do?
Okay. Well, I mean, that's always a good thing to, have that option.
Oh yeah.
I asked that question just in case, like, maybe someone in the audience who's like pursuing music, it's like they have a realistic, expectation
right.
of what it would take. Right. Like,
Right.
you can't really go after this if you're not quite in that financial position.
Right.
And so, you might have to think of some other options, or if at least even having some hard numbers is probably helpful to someone so that they know how much to save
Right.
if they are in position to do so.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's why I'm kind of asking
Yeah.
the question.
I should also mention uh, when making audition tapes, I can give some hard numbers if you like. So just to
Oh
make
yeah, like a ballpark. Like, oh, so auditions you have to pay for.
so for the to make the tape,
Oh, okay.
or how they describe it's called a pre-screening,
Uh-huh.
meaning you send the school videos of your playing,
Oh, okay.
and then if they like it, then you go perform in a live audition. So for me, I had to. So ideally, you want the best possible instrument, the best lighting, best. The audio is the most important, but decent enough lighting.
Yeah. So it has to be a decent production.
Yeah, and the audio has to be good as well, which is why I was dabbling like audio engineering. I didn't want to pay for. I don't want to pay someone 100 an hour when I can probably get close,
Yeah.
close enough.
Right. And then you do it.
And I have
You learn it, you can keep doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
rather than hire someone each time.
Yeah, if I hire someone each time, it's crazy expensive. But
Right.
doing myself, like maybe invested $400 or $500 in audio equipment, and then now I have it for life, pretty much.
Exactly. Good.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
yeah, it's. I mean, most people are not interested in that. I find a lot of musicians don't go this hire an audio engineer, but this is something I'm personally interested in.
Yeah.
Is learning how to make a high quality recording. So all this is to say, it's not cheap to
Right.
go after this. And every day I wonder, is this a good idea, or is this? It's hard to. If I had a family, if I had a significant other and kids, I probably would not be doing this right now.
Right.
But as a single, turning 30 next month, this single 30. Let's round up to 30. As a single 30-year-old man, I think.
Yeah.
But
The other thing is like it's not just about like the monetary return, financial return you get. It's like there's immeasurable returns, I guess. Like intangibles.
intangibles. That's a good.
Like experience, skills, like just memories of all the types of shoots I've done and things like that, or like places I've gone, places I've traveled. So like for you, I imagine it'd be like, performances you do and then people you meet, right, in the industry. Like that's can't really put a price tag on it.
Right, and I feel like past 2 years, I understand music so much more deeply than I have ever.
Yeah.
It's because I just spend so much time
Right.
practicing, and then I really understand what it takes
Yeah.
to play at a high level.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, if this doesn't pan out, then at least I tried.
Yeah.
I think that's something. I mean, anybody who's taking a big risk
Right.
can console themselves with, is that if this endeavor doesn't pan out, then at least I gave it my best.
Yeah.
And
There's nothing wrong with not making it or failure, like,
yeah, what is success and what is failure? I guess if we
Right.
can make a living out of it, that seems like to be a lot of people's definition.
one level,
That's the one level,
version of success, I guess.
right?
But
But
maybe not all. And beyond your money, it's like, sure, what if you do, maybe somehow you did, if all things go well, like beyond your wildest dreams, you're able to make a good amount of money and live off of it. It's like, but what if you never actually scratched the itch that started it all? That's the thing.
right,
It's like, well, what if you didn't get that satisfaction that you were looking for in the first place from pursuing it, right? Like, then even making more money doesn't really help you,
right.
or at least you're still going to be left wanting.
Yeah,
So that's like an important question for me to ask. It's like, oh, did I accomplish what I set out to do from the beginning, right? Like, what was my goals that I outlined, and did I get there? Because it's not just about money.
right, for sure. Otherwise, we'd still be working in corporate.
Yeah, exactly.
You get paid a much more steady paycheck.
Yeah.
And a lot more security. One major lesson I learned through this endeavor is that I think while I was working in tech industry, I didn't feel like I really needed faith in God. Because I had this paycheck I had a steady paycheck. All my material needs were pretty much met. I was saving quite a bit of money too. And if I wanted to buy something, I can pretty much buy it. So if I wanted to buy a lot of camera equipment, not that I know how to use it, but I can just buy it without thinking too much about having to earn the money back. And so when I went to church, it was more of a routine thing. If I have, but even the routine didn't hold out for very long because sometimes I just not go.
Yeah.
And I felt like I really don't. There's really no need for God. There's no need for faith. But I think the past 2 years while working on my musical endeavors, it's a lot more questions about how am I going to, and one big question, how am I going to monetize this endeavor? And whether this is the right path. I think that's when I really needed, I feel like I really felt my faith being challenged.
Yeah.
Just having all these doubts and wondering if this is the right path forward or if I should just go and do something. Just go back into the tech industry and live a normal life. But this feels much more adventurous, along the lines of kind of the story of Abram, where he was called out of his father's home and into the land of Canaan. That's what it feels like right now. I feel like a calling where I don't quite know what the destination is.
Yeah.
But I'm learning to trust that God will lead me.
Yeah.
Somewhere where he wants me to be.
Nice.
So no more earthly securities in my case. No more cushy tech job, no more.
Yeah. And hey, that was just God's grand plan to like bring you closer to him, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot. I feel like this endeavor requires so much more faith than when I was just sitting on my butt all day in an office chair.
So let me kind of end this interview with one last question that I always ask every interviewee. So what advice would you have for anyone in the audience who is pursuing after something similar? You know, going maybe a little bit more specifically for music, if you have something specifically for music, but you know, just even this idea of like leaving one job in one industry to go for another,
Right.
whether it's music or not. Is there a piece of advice that you could share with the audience?
Gosh, I'm still in the middle of figuring everything out.
Totally fine.
Hence the theme of this show. Right?
That is the theme of the show.
Work in progress.
Everyone here is a work in progress, myself included. You know, this show is a work in progress. Right. Like, it's just about getting started, you know, taking a leap of faith and starting the journey, you know?
Yeah. Well, I will say that if you're debating whether I'll speak about whether you should leave a job or not, a stable job or not. Basically, I guess you basically got two choices. You either stay where you are or you leave. And both options, even though staying seems like a less risky option, there's still risks with staying. Like, imagine where you'll be 5 years from today. You stayed at this job. And that's something I was asking when I was working. I was asking myself, if I stay here for another 5 years, would I be happier? And I think I guess my actions kind of indicate no, I would not. I did not want to stay. So even staying carries risks, and I think if you shrink from the opportunities to leave your comfort zone, how should I phrase this? I don't think security is found in staying where you are, just maintaining status quo. I think real security is found in going out there and taking risks. I think that's where real security is to be found. So,
hot take.
So it was just kind of a hot take, but I'm also thinking
It's an alternative.
I think biblical stories as well, where
like
I mentioned the story of Abram, where he was he had a very cushy lifestyle.
Yeah.
In his father's tent. But God called him to go out into the wild, the land of Canaan. And Abram's not, of course, he's not certain where God exactly is leading him.
Right.
But But after his adventure, he became the father of all nations.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's hard to just give advice on this matter, but I am convinced that just going out there, taking risks that's where you really find security as opposed to just maintaining status quo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I believe deep
I
down.
love it. I mean, I think that is good advice. Not even a hot take. It's pretty, it's advice that people could definitely, consider. Because there is, I had similar mindset of like, what would it look like if I stayed here another 5 years?
Yeah.
That was my alternative too. It's like, okay, I could either leave, pursue my own thing, or stay at this job for 5 years. And so I was like, well, what does that look like? And, sure, it could be, you move up the ranks or something, you get paid more or whatever. But then I was like, but then I miss out on all the possibilities of pursuing something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the opportunity cost.
Opportunity. Yeah, exactly.
There's opportunity cost. Um, Not to use a business term, but
Right.
it is a valid way to look at things,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe sometimes that's just enough to push you over the edge,
Mm.
take to do the thing that you need to do, or just
Right.
realize that. So, some people don't even think about opportunity costs. So I think that's good advice to bring up.
Yeah, not saying everyone should just leave their jobs right now, but
Yeah.
but it's just to definitely think about what would it look like if you stay at this job for another 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I would leave the audience.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Alex, thanks so much for being on the show. Thanks for sharing your story with us, with me and the audience of The Pursuit. Um, yeah, it's great to hear that you are just going after the thing that you want to do and taking the risk and investing the time and the money and the resources. And you're a talented, gifted musician. I want to see that, where it'll go. So,
For sure.
hopefully it can catch you at your next show, next concert.
Mhm.
I just want to say thank you to all of you in the audience watching this episode. This was another episode of The Pursuit, where we hear and talk about stories of entrepreneurs, artists, any sort of creative person who is going after their own passions, their own pursuit in New York City. And yeah, we hear about their goals, their passions, their faith walk, and um, anything else interesting about them. So if you like this content, please stay tuned for more. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.
Peace. Thanks, Garland.
Thanks.